Our Father in heaven, thank you once again for gathering us for this afternoon class. We ask for your grace and for an empowerment from your word. We ask that may you help us to understand. We pray that may you give us strength physically and also spiritually to understand what we need to study. I also pray may you remind us of the things we began yesterday, and may all this be to your glory. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
All right. Good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon.
We want to revise what we covered yesterday. We'll begin by revision for just an update to those who were not here, and also to add more detail to the things we didn't manage to fully explain. Or maybe there was some issue of maybe I was going a bit fast or not fully, or assuming that we all understand these things. So do that revision. We looked at Revelation 9 for those who were not here. Revelation 9 is the last three trumpets. The last three trumpets are not just trumpets, right? We know that. How are they different from the first four? The first four trumpets are what? Trumpets, but the last three are also trumpets with wolves associated with them. Just as we have in Revelation 6, we have four seals, but the last three of them, the first four have beasts associated with them, or horses, but the last three they are just seals with no horses. And the churches, they also have that pattern of a four and a three. What's the pattern in the churches? Just to see how this book was designed. The first four churches, how are they different from the last three? In terms of time. In terms of how they were given. Ephesus, Smyrna, Pergamos, and Thyatira, they are one line of thought, but the last three churches they were contemporary. They were happening in the same time. Sardis, Philadelphia, and Laodicea, they were happening in the same time. I'll not go more into how they are different, but we also have this structure in the trumpets. So they are called wood trumpets because they are judgments upon a false church, right? Mm-hmm. So the fifth trumpet, unfortunately we do not have any charts with us, but if you check your charts, what's the date for the sounding or the identification for the fifth angel sounding the fifth trumpet on the charts? Those who remember. Is that
1299 to 1449.
No. The beginning of the sounding of the fifth angel, the fifth trumpet. It says 606.
606.
The rise of Islam.
Mm-hmm.
You remember?
Yeah.
Yeah. we didn't bring any charts here, but it says 606, and we do not have a problem with that because the charts have more authority because they were directed by the hand of the Lord, as Sister White says. So that's the rise of Islam. For those who had a question yesterday on why we were identifying 606 as the rise of Islam, right? 606 as the rise of Islam. The charts also have that date as the beginning of the fifth trumpet. So the fifth trumpet takes us to which date?
1449.
1449. Right. But in verse 1 you have what? You have a star that falls from heaven. Whom did we say this symbolized? Muhammad, right? Because he was beginning to propagate a false religion, right? And also the pioneers tell us that that's when he begins to have followers behind him. He begins to have visions that identify him to be a prophet. And then they teach their people to go and force everyone to join Mohammedanism, right? And then they enforce death. Either you get part of Islamism or you die. That's what they emphasize. And then the bottomless pit, we discussed about the bottomless pit. There are three powers that come from the bottomless pit. We say there is the dragon in Revelation 11. And then there is the false prophet here in Revelation 9. And then there is the beast in Revelation 17. Right? So all powers that are associated with the bottomless pit, they are not righteous entities. And then we then defined that this religion of Mohammedanism, it's not a righteous religion. And then Muhammad is given a key to the bottomless pit. So what was the key? Now we start to move. What was the key? The key that gets given to open this bottomless pit. The battle of
Nicomedia.
Battle of Nicomedia. But what's the date that we have for that?
627.
627. You said Nico what?
Nineveh.
It's Nineveh.
Oh, it's Nineveh. Oh, sorry.
Nineveh. I hope I'm spelling it right. This is the battle of Nineveh.
Yeah.
So here we have a battle, right? And I said this was a battle between Persia and Eastern Rome. Right. When you identify this third part in Revelation 9, that was the third part of Eastern Rome. The third part was Eastern Rome. Eastern Rome, that was the remaining Roman Empire when you get to 606. Because we have been taught since morning that when you get to 496, 490, pagan Rome, the Western Empire is gone. Now you have judgments upon Eastern Rome. Right. So the Battle of Nineveh, you have Eastern Rome and Persia as the only two powers that are able to stop Islam from rising. Right. So they have a war in 627, and then but what was happening prior to this war? Which power was more powerful or more victorious than the other previously? Persia. Persia was a two-horned power. Prophetically, we identify Persia as a two-horned power. Are we together?
Yes.
So then Persia initially is victorious, then by when you get to 627, what happens?
Rome overcomes.
Rome overcomes Persia. So, if we are going to put that in our time, applying this to this history, let's do this. What's the time of the end?
1989.
1989. Right. So, in 1989, what begins to happen in Daniel 11, verse 40?
The king of the north retaliates.
Against
The
king of the south. Right. Let's just read it so that we remind ourselves of this. Daniel 11, verse 40. It says, and at the time of the end shall the king of the south push at him, and the king of the north shall come against him like a whirlwind, with chariots, and with horsemen, and with many ships. And he shall enter into the countries, and shall overflow and pass over. So, the king of the north is coming with an ally, right? When he comes to retaliate. But what happens at the time of the end is he gets defeated. That's 1798, right? Initially, he loses. To what type of a power? He loses to a what type of power? To a 2-1 power. And that was what?
And
Which 2-1 power was it?
United States.
France. Is France a 2-1 power? Right. It's identified as what in Revelation 11?
Sodom and Egypt.
Sodom and Egypt. That's Revelation 11, verse 8.
Yeah, just want to say also, if you look at Daniel 11:40, when it says that the king of the south pushes at the king of the north, that word push means to go with horns. So the king of the south there is a power that has horns.
Yes. So the king of the south pushes or goes or was against the king of the north. Initially, the king of the south is victorious. We are together. It's a 2-1 power, right? But in this history, we have Persia and Eastern Rome. Persia initially is victorious. That's 606, right? So if you read those notes, you get that explanation from the pioneers. Probably you may not know this, so I'll read it. That's page one. Unfortunately, I'm using a small phone here. Okay, it's not page 1, it's page 2. It says this: Constantinople was besieged for the first time after the extinction of the Western Empire by Chosroes, the king of Persia. You get it? Those who do not have notes, they are in the group Winter Prophecy School. They are entitled Revelation 9 Who Trumpets. So Constantinople was besieged for the first time after the extinction of the Western Empire by Chosroes, king of Persia. And then a star fell from heaven, etc. So that's the reference for this issue. And then
Sorry, you said you're on which page?
this is page 2.
Begins on page 2 and then ends on page 3.
What's written at
If you are
the
using the
I've
ones
seen.
which are, you've seen it,
No, I've seen.
on the bottom of page 2. Yeah. And then if you just jump, and then go to where it says, since the days of Scipio and Hannibal. That's page 3. No bolder enterprise has been attempted than that which Heraclius achieved for the deliverance of the empire. He explored his perilous way through the Black Sea and the mountains of Armenia, penetrated into the heart of Persia, and recalled the armies of the great king to the defense of their bleeding army, etc. So this is how Erasmus defines it. And then the next paragraph says, the Roman Empire was not strengthened by the conquests which he achieved. This is an explanation of that battle. And the way was prepared at the same time and by the same means for the multitudes of Saracens from Arabia, like locusts from the same region, who propagating in their course the dark and delusive Mohammedan creed, speedily overspread both the Persian and the Roman Empire. So Uriah Smith is telling us that that battle was the way that prepared the same means for the rise of the Saracens, right? That's in 627, according to the references that I found. So here I said there is a star that falls from heaven, right? This is the rise of Mohammedanism. And then this is the battle of Nineveh. Persia loses. And then that loss is the way that opens another door for the rise of Islam, right? So when you get to 1989, this was some type of a long drawn out war in this history between these two powers. So do you have a long drawn out war before 1989?
Yes.
That is between
United States and the
USA
Soviet
and
Union.
what?
The
Soviet Union.
And the Soviet Union. Okay. But when you get to 1989, do you see the rise of Islam after 1989? Just as you see the Saracens coming up into history after 1989?
Yes.
Yes. If you go into this history on that chart, you begin to see activities by Islam. They attack WTC. What's that?
World Trade Center.
Yeah. For the first time, actually they did it before 9/11, and then they bombed some places in Kenya and some US embassies and so on. In Kenya and Tanzania, I think. They begin to have their activities coming up back into history. But we are going to read on for identifying these other identities. There was a contribution that was made yesterday by Karabo. Karabo, can you come again? What you contributed?
About the Seven Thunders.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
No, it wasn't much of a contribution. It was just throwing something in there to look at. That 606 you could see a massive. It might be possible to see the Seven Thunders in that list, because when you look at 606, you see from that point Islam rising, and yes, and we know that in 1798 we have a message being unsealed and an increase of knowledge. Then you get to a point where it is formalized, it's put in a formal package, and there you might have Abu Bakr putting it, Islam, into a formal package, being formal, something of that sort. And as I was looking there, I thought it might be interesting because I saw 7 events to
1844.
Yeah.
Okay. So, if we say, so we are saying Muhammad is the one who is being given this false increase of knowledge, right? And then his message gets formalized, right? So, when did Muhammad die, according to yesterday's lesson? When did he die? Yes, he died in 632. And then he gets substituted by Abu Bakr. Right? And then you have what is called Abu Bakr's letter. You know it? Yeah. And what's the contents of his letter?
Muhammad's message.
Muhammad's message. Which said what concerning Revelation 9 verse 4. Revelation 9 verse 4, there is a command that they should not eat the grass of the earth, neither any green thing or any tree, and so forth. That was contained in that letter. Probably, maybe that was the formalized message, maybe. But Then you get to 1299.
It was given power.
It was given power. Alright. Then it's given power in 1299. I think it fits. But we will need to see more if there's something in it. And then so we also identified that here they are just locusts that come from the smoke, right? Do you remember that? Verse 2 and 3 says, out of the smoke you get the locusts, right? And then, but we read a verse that said, the locusts have no king, etc. That was Proverbs chapter 30, verse 27, I think. It says the locusts have no king. And then, but when you get to 1299, they begin to have a leader. These followers of Muhammad begin to have a king. Previously, they are just tribes who are doing their things without a leader. But when you get to 1299, they have a leader who what is his name? Othman. Right. Othman. Othman is the founder of the Ottoman Empire that we know in history. Then Othman, what he does is he is a king, right? We are going to see if what would be the impacts that we have on this lower line. So in 1299, what has happened in 1299? If you still have this diagram.
In 12,
In 1299. In 1299, what happened? Okay, so let's go to the notes, and I'll try to read something from there. On page 6, I read this yesterday. If you go to page 6, third paragraph from the last, it says they had a king over them, right? This is the king, Othman. And then it says, which is the angel of the bottomless pit, whose name is Destroyer. This character might in truth be imputed to the Arab caliphs who directed the armies for so many years after the death of Muhammad. But it is especially applicable to Othman, the founder of the Ottoman Empire. This, the first attempted centralization of government, was the outgrowth of the doctrines of Muhammad. Right? And then it says, Othman, says the historian, possessed and perhaps surpassed the ordinary virtues of a soldier, and the circumstances of time and place were propitious to his independence and success. The close of the 13th century was near. The Crusades had thrust Europe against the Turks in a most reckless manner. Constantinople had numerous emperors, but the Greek government grew weaker, and the time of its destruction was truthfully approaching. It was on July 27, AD 1299, says Gibbon, that Othman first invaded the territory of Nicomedia, and the singular accuracy of the date seems to disclose some foresight of the rapid and destructive growth of the monster. More than human foresight recorded this date with such definiteness. To the prophet on Patmos, it had been revealed that their power was to yet mean 5 months, right? So, if we say that their power was to yet mean 5 months, so when are they given power?
1299.
1299. Okay.
So it's empowered.
Okay, so put this symbol. Okay. So then they do their work of yet for 5 months, right? Which is 150 days. We all know the 8-day principle, right? Yeah. 30 days in a month multiplied by 5. That's 350. That's 150 days, which is 150 years. And then, so I think for simplicity, let's just put it down here. When is our message formalized?
I just wanted to comment that if you look at the end of the 150 years, July 27, 1449, it's prophetically midway between the beginning of the First War and the end of the Second.
Yeah.
Not in terms of time, but prophetically, it's the waymark that's midway between the end of the beginning of the First War and the end of the Second.
The second.
Because it marks the end of the first and the beginning of the second.
Yeah.
So it's the midpoint.
Okay.
So it's another way.
Okay. Did you hear what he said?
Yeah.
Yes. So he's just separating this is the separation point of the wars. First war side, second war side. Right? Yeah. Okay, let's keep going.
Like on 12, like July 27, right? That's where we mark the angel that comes from the bottomless pit and the message is empowered.
Alright.
And like at the empowerment, we know that there's an angel that comes down.
Yeah.
So it's something that I just know.
Okay.
But here with the angel be coming down or coming up,
I
I think
know
I think that arrowhead should be the other side because their power is coming
They
from the
ascend.
bottomless pit.
Bottomless pit.
Well,
So I think you should change that arrow to look upward.
Okay, no problem. we'll do it that way. So, we don't have a problem with having these two for the time of the end, right? Because 606, that's the rise of Mohammedanism. But 627 is the battle of Nineveh. So both these two will come in, right? That's not an issue. Do you have any other?
But can I ask, 627, isn't it that the key?
Yeah, this is the
627
key.
was the key.
Yeah, this is the key.
So what was the key in the Millerite history?
In the Millerite history.
Wasn't it the rules? The key to unlock the message of the Millerites. When were the rules given? Were they given? Well, I understand that for getting the keys, he had to buy the concordance, 1989, isn't it? 1798. But then in order for him to get to that, it was in the 2-year period when he was studying, isn't it?
1833.
1816 to 1818. So I'm saying, in one sense, to me, it appears that
There's a key and there's a key.
Okay.
yes, that 627 is fine there. In one sense.
It's fine in one sense to line here.
To mark it there.
The key.
In Millerite history.
Yes.
Yeah, in Miller.
In Millerite history.
Millerite
yes.
history. Okay.
But also if you look at Daniel 12, you remember that the time of the end and the increase of knowledge, even though they can be represented as two-way marks on the line of the seventh thunder, they are connected.
Yeah.
So you can see a connection between 606 and 627. 1798 is my brother saying, and 1816.
Okay.
And also 1989 and the increase of knowledge in our age.
Okay, well, we can do it this way. We know this 1992 issue. Can you explain it more?
That's when Elder Jeff got an increase of knowledge on time level from 40 to 45. That's when he understood the message.
Yes,
So he had the key.
exactly. And then,
Because that message is there. Okay.
and then in 1989, that's when he understands the reform lines.
Yes.
Right. Alright. So, so you have these issues.
Sorry, can I ask?
Ah.
Does anyone know when Mohammed wrote a letter to
Crossroads.
Crossroads?
Okay, I was looking for that, but I was not able to get it with the time that I had. But Abu Bakr was before Othman, a very long time before him. So probably his letter would be, I didn't write letter. Here is a letter that contains the way the lawyers start to operate.
Yeah. No, I was not talking about that one. That one I see. That one is Abu Bakr. I mean, Before Khosrow was defeated in 627, Muhammad had written a letter to him.
Muhammad had written a letter to
He
him.
had sent a letter to him and told him to submit to him. And Khosrow, the history tells us that Khosrow tore the letter apart.
Okay.
And Muhammad said, all right, thus shall the Lord do to you.
Or he's identifying
627.
the
Yes.
history before the battle of Nineveh.
Yeah.
He gets given a message from this prophet.
Uh,
And then he tears that message, etc.
So this message was a message to make known to the king of Nineveh the presence of Muhammad, or whatsoever it is.
But it's rejected.
And
But it
then,
was rejected. Okay.
okay. And then we have 1996. Okay, so let's go to Nicomedia. Nicomedia is the first attack, right? As we read. The first attack upon which kingdom? Eastern Rome, right? And Rome, is Rome a symbol of the United States? Yes. Why? How is Rome a symbol of the United States?
It oppresses God's people.
You what?
Is it right?
Puts the first sandal
Okay, yeah. It puts the first sandal.
and the US will put the first sandal
Okay. What about in terms of the work that was done by pagan Rome in relation to the role of the USA?
Placing the papers on the throne.
Okay. What about in the aspect of our studies? Yes. Who are the armies of Rome? Here?
Pagan Rome.
Why in that history?
Yes.
Pagan Rome.
Eastern Rome.
Eastern Rome.
Right. Or Rome.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And who are the armies of Rome here?
United States.
USA. Right. So USA is the armies of Rome in our time period. So the first attack upon Eastern Rome is the first attack upon
The United
the
States.
United States. Right. And what's that swim at?
9/11.
9/11. Right. This was the greatest terrorist attack in history so far. Yeah.
But you mentioned, I mean, after 632, Islam was active.
Yeah.
Before 1299.
Yeah. I mentioned it.
And that after 96, 97, you have the
Yeah.
World Trade, no. The embassies
The embassy
Yeah,
of the United States in Tanzania and Kenya
Yeah.
being attacked. So you also have Islamic activity before
Before
that
before
power.
1299. Yeah. Just as we have Islamic activity before 1299. Right. And so then we keep going, right? Which angel comes down in
Revelation 18.
Revelation 18, right? It's fulfilled. Sister White says 1, 2, 3. This is 1, 2, 3 get fulfilled when the angel of Revelation 18 comes down. When the great buildings of New York fall, right? And then so it means we have the 150 here as well, right? Prophetically, right? That take you to which way, man?
Midway.
Midway, which is also, or you can say midnight, right? But here's another thing that we need to think about. Here we have a king. Are we together? In this history, we have a king. And they say it's Ottoman. But do we have a king over radical Islam in our time?
Not that I know of.
Nine. Or
Not that
we
we
do
know
not
of.
yet know, right?
Not that we know of.
Not that we know. So,
Can we call the letter by Abu Bakr in 632 a decree?
a decree.
In
Yeah, in some sense, because it's a command.
Oh, so it's a decree.
or how they were supposed to operate.
Oh, so it's a because in 1996 there was a decree that was passed as well in the United States
Oh,
against Islam
okay.
after the 1993 World Trade Center attacks,
Attacks.
the first one.
Okay.
And then a decree was passed in 96.
Anti-terror law.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
So can we line it up with
With 9/11. With
Abu Baker's
96.
96.
yeah.
Yeah, we can. Since it's a letter that is a restraining aspect on the activities of Islam. I think it fits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
So, and then, so you can go into a moment on it. You're suggesting the anti-terror law. Okay. But in the morning we're being reminded about the rules, right? Is it?
Yes.
We're being reminded to refer to the rules. So here we have a king, but here we don't have a king. So how are we going to do with this according to the rules? If you do not have a fulfilled prophecy, what do you do?
Wait for his future from
Which rule is it?
13.
13.
Yeah.
Right. So we wait until the future fulfillment of this history in terms of having a king or someone who is a leader behind the Muslims, right? What about so let's read Revelation 9 verse 11. And they had a king over them, which is the angel of the bottomless pit, whose name is in Hebrew tongue Abaddon, but in the Greek he has his name Apollyon. And then verse 12 it says, one who is past, and behold, they come two who is more hereafter. Right? So the verse which identifies the king is verse 11, right?
Sorry.
Yes, verse 9:11.
I wanted to say something.
Ah.
When they are commanded there in verse 5, it says, and to them it was given that they should not kill them. They
Kill
were
them.
restrained from killing.
Yeah.
And yet they were allowed to torment. So there's a restraining here. Okay, don't kill, but torment.
Yes.
If you get to see that, that's 1299, where we put it at 911. So there is a restraining that don't kill, but torment. You know. You see that?
Yeah. I see it. You have a tormenting work here. Or we can suggest that radical Islam, in this time period, what is it doing? In our time period? It's tormenting, right? And is it true that radical Islam is tormenting the world
Yes.
in our time period?
Yes.
But you would see that there are two sides to it. I'm going to come to it just as soon as I refer to this king aspect. It says, and they are the king over them. But the next verse says, one who is past. When is the one who passed in this history?
1419.
Yeah.
1440.
This is the end of the first rule, right?
Yeah.
So this is the beginning of the second rule. Right. So one who is past, that's the next verse. So probably for us, what does that mean in terms of seeing radical Islam rallying behind a leader? You didn't get it?
Yeah.
I'm saying the verse which identifies a king is verse 11, which is Revelation 9 verse 11. But the next verse, you have the one who being passed, right? Which is this way man. So when probably are you going to have a leader for the Muslims?
Before.
At the end of the first war.
Yeah. Just
At the
before.
end of-
Just before.
Yeah. According to the narrative of verse 11 and verse 12, when we get to the one who being passed, that's verse 12. which is midnight, then probably, surely, based on God's word, which never fails, you will have a lead over the more
Global.
over modern radical Islam, right?
Yeah.
So we are going to have a king here by these verses.
Sorry, bro. There are people that don't get it.
You can simplify it.
No, I wasn't saying that I can simplify it.
All right.
Should I
We are still
Okay.
we are still in the history of 9/11, right? But we see no king over modern Islam, right? But in this history, they have old man. So I'm saying we are supposed to wait for that fulfillment.
Okay.
But when you get to verse 12, when one who is passed, in the previous verse they have a king. So before you get to the end of, when you get to the second group, then definitely they will have this, this leader. Are you getting it now?
Yes.
So that's the history of the first war, and how we are trying to understand it in our time. Now, in verse 5, Revelation, in verse 4, and it was commanded them that they should not eat the grass of the earth, neither any green thing, neither any tree, but only those men which have not the seal of God. So, what do we have in verse 4?
A ceiling.
We have the sealing implied, right? When do we mark the sealing in our time? 9/11. Why 9/11? Do we say is the beginning of the sealing?
Revelation chapter 7.
Revelation chapter 7. Right. Let's go to Revelation 7. Let's read verse 1. And after these things I saw 4 angels standing on the 4 corners of the earth, holding the 4 winds of the earth, that the wind should not blow on the earth, nor on the sea, nor on any tree. And I saw another angel ascending from the east, having the seal of the living God, and he cried with a loud voice to the 4 angels, to whom it was given to hate the earth and the sea, saying, hate not the earth, neither the sea, nor the trees, till we have sealed the servants of our God in their foreheads. Right. What's similar between Revelation 7, 1, 2, 3 and the Revelation 7 and Revelation 9? Or let me say, what's similar between Revelation 7 verse 3 and Revelation 9 verse 4? What's similar?
It's not the earth, neither the sea, nor the
Yet not, right? So, can you separate these 2 references?
No.
We cannot. We have to combine them.
Yeah.
Because they are, you cannot afford to separate the meaning of these 2 verses. So, I'm going to develop on this as we go on in the future. So we are saying the sealing is a purpose of not hating a group of people, right? Which are God's people. Which means God's people are having a time to be sealed, right? But at the same time, you have a group of people who are actually suffering and who do not qualify to be in the group of the people who are being sealed, right? So, what does that mean in terms of the role of radical Islam or Islam? According to these implications, they have a double-edged sword role, or you can say they have 2 kinds of works to do, right? They are either a blessing or a what?
A curse.
Or a curse. Because to one group, their work is actually buying time for God's people. But to another group of people, it's a time of torment. Are we together?
Yeah.
So we are not yet able to give references to the sealing and also to how God is buying time for God's people in this time period. But definitely, at 9/11, the Lord did a work of restraining the four winds so that God's people can be sealed and be prepared for whatever is going to come in the later time. But the role of Islam is to preserve God's people at one level. But at one level, it's to punish who? Or to torment who? To torment the armies of Rome, right? So in this time period, the armies of Rome are being tormented progressively. Or anyone who is not under the category of being sealed, right? It's still in the air, but we will develop it as we go. Now, verse 18, and the sixth angel sounded, and I heard a voice from the four horns of the golden altar, which is before God. It's Revelation 9:13. It says, we have the sixth angel sounding. That's here. The sixth angel begins to sound. And then verse 14, saying to the sixth angel which had the trumpet, loose the four angels which are bound in the great river Euphrates. Right? So we have four angels that get loose. Yeah. How is it get? And then which means that they will get restrained when you get to the conclusion of their allotted time. Because in verse 15 you have that time. Okay, you want to say something?
Yeah, sorry to take you back a bit, but something just clicked on me. If you look at 9/11 and 1989, or August 11 and 1798, it's the same angel. Right?
9/11 and
1989.
Yeah.
And 1840 and 1798. At one level is the same angel because they're both the first angel. Arrival of the first angel, empowerment of the first angel. In 606 you have that angel, or that star falling from heaven. But you also have that same angel identified in July 27 as having power and fulfilling a kingly role. So you have that connection of the angel being the same angel at the same time. Do you get what I'm saying?
Can you repeat it for me?
I'm saying at the time of the end you have the first angel arriving. But at 1840 or 9/11 you have the first angel empowered. So at that level it's the same angel. So I'm saying in 606 you have that angel arriving because he falls from heaven. But then in 1299 that angel is given power. So at that level it's the same angel.
I get it for myself. He's saying, that's the rise of Islam, the beginning of Mohammedanism. But here it's the empowerment of their work.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. And then when you get to midway or midnight,
which is
in Millerite
1449.
Yes, in Millerite history, it was the empowerment of the second angel's message. And when Sister White speaks about the empowerment of the second angel's message, she represents it as many angels that did the work of giving power to the second angel. And when you get to 1449, you don't have one angel, you have many angels, like you have four angels.
You get it. When referencing the Millerite history, Sister White says the work of the first angel is just a mighty angel. The work of the second angel, she says a mighty angel as well. Another mighty angel was commissioned to descend, etc. But when referencing the work of the midnight cry, it's a plurality of angels. We will read those quotes for you in the future. So here we have a plurality of angels, those four angels in this history that get loosed, right? And then, before I forget, then in verse 15, the four angels were loosed, which were prepared for an hour, a day, a month, and a year for to slay the third part of men. So now what do we have in this history? Maybe I have to get a reference for this. Let's go to our notes. What's the time now?
26 past.
Yeah, actually, I think you 4 minutes. No, not 4 minutes. 9 minutes.
Okay.
9.
Let's go to page. Just a moment. I'm looking for a reference for the fall of Constantinople. Okay, here it is. Okay, go to page 7. Page 7. We are going to read. This is Stephen Askill on what he says on this issue from 1449 to 1453. It says to show that in 1299 power was given. I'm beginning to read on page 6, but I'm just going to pick and choose. On page 6, Stephen Askill is speaking about the invasion of Ottoman of Nicomedia. Then on page 7, it says a regular standing army of 25,000 Muslims was organized by the son of Othman. Do you find that place? Right. And then it says, and then it gives you a history of the people who succeeded Othman, right? Are we together? There is 4 people who succeeded Othman. There was his son, and another son, and another son, and the 4th was Bajazet. This Bajazet was living in the time of John Paleologus. In this history. But there are 2 who come after Bajazet. There is Murad 1, and then there is Mehmet 2. Are we together? Those are the 2 guys who then take you to 1449. So we are going to read on this history.
So are you saying it's 4 sons, like 4 successors?
There's 4 successors.
And then the other 2.
But the other 2, they change. One goes first, then he gives way to his son. Then the son puts the father back, and then the father gives back to the son.
So it's 7.
So it's
kings.
Almost 7 kings. Yeah. That take you to 1449. If you
From
read
1299.
Yeah, from 1299. If you read this passage, let's read it. It says, a regular standing army of 25,000 Muslims was organized by the son of Othman, as Asia Minor was completely in his hands, and the 7 churches referred to in the first chapter of Revelation were desecrated by the religion of Muhammad. So near was the Turkish rule to the throne that in 1346 Okan, the successor of Othman, demanded and obtained as a wife the daughter of the Greek Empire, and the princess left her home in Constantinople to live in the harem of the Turks. Between 1360 and 1389, the third sovereign of the Turks conquered Thrace and fixed the capital of his empire and his religion at Adrianople, almost within the shadow of Constantinople. Never before had the Greek Empire been surrounded on all sides by the foe. The 4th king, Bajazet, by name, was surnamed Ilderim, or the lightning, because of the fiery energy of his soul and the rapidity of his destructive marches. Constantinople was sorely praised, and were not the hand of God recognized, the fact that the downfall was delayed for another 50 years might seem a mere accident. Then called to contend with the Scythian force from the east, the Turks were obliged to postpone activities in Greece for a number of years. The Byzantine court, instead of profiting by the imminent danger, grew weaker. The 150 years of torment, not destruction, was about to close. So it's just a time period of torment, but there's a time for destruction that then follows. And then it says, where were we? One who is past, and behold, there were 2, and behold, there come 2 more who's hereafter. The restraining hand of God had held contending forces in check, waiting until the extreme limit of time. for men to acknowledge the righteousness of Jehovah. But at the sounding of the sixth trumpet, a voice was heard from the four horns of the altar before which Christ offers the prayers, saying, "Loose the four angels which are bound in the great river Euphrates." During that 150 years, the Turks had the power to torment. But when their armies seemed on the very verge of victory over the Greek Empire, their force was abated by troubles from the regions of the Euphrates. The time was coming when they would not only torment but kill. In 1448, the death of John Palaeologus left the throne of Constantinople in a weak and precarious condition. Constantine, his successor, could claim no territory beyond the limits of the city, and the throne was already held by the virtue of the grace of Amrad, the Turkish rule. Okay, so let me just explain this. When you get to close to 1449, the last emperor is John Palaeologus, but he doesn't have any son. Are we together? So his brother takes that throne in 1449, but before he reigns, he has to seek for authority from the rising powers of Islam, which were the four angels or the four sultans, right? So he gets authority from one of them, which is Amrad. This Amrad is the one who is here. But we are going to read that in 1451 there's another one who successes over Amrad. And then it says the death of Amrad in 1451 and the succession of Muhammad II. Okay, I jumped something. I'm going to read. When the Sultan dictated to Rome, then were fulfilled the words, "Loose the four angels which are bound in the great river Euphrates." These words seem especially to refer to Baghdad, Damascus, Aleppo, and Iconium, four sultanates bordering on the region of the Euphrates. No power could now resist, and the Muslim ruler soon gained the long-coveted fortress of the Bosporus. The death of Amrad in 1451 and the succession of Muhammad II, a wily man full of ambition and restless of restraint, did not retard the conquest. Muhammad's one design was to capture Constantinople, right? So we are now being told about Muhammad II. So Muhammad II is the one who is in 1451 desiring to capture Constantinople, the one who comes after Amrad, right? Then it says, Muhammad's one design was to capture Constantinople. Peace was on his lips, but war was in his heart, and every energy was bent toward the accomplishment of this design. At midnight, he once started from his bed and demanded the immediate attendance of his prime vizier, right? So that was midnight. And then it says, the men came trembling, fearing the detection of some previous crime. He made his offering to the Sultan, but what was met with the words? I ask a present far more valuable and important, Constantinople. Muhammad too tasted the loyalty of his soldiers, warned his ministers against the bribery of the Romans, studied the art of war and the use of firearms. He engaged the services of a founder of cannon who promised weapons that could batter down the walls of the city, right? So he begins to organize to bomb Constantinople. So he hires a bomb maker. And then it says, in April of 1453, the memorable siege was formed. So they go to Constantinople, yeah, and then they do a siege. Constantinople. And then they eventually win over Constantinople. It says the memorable siege was formed, and the sound of the war trumpet, the forces of Muhammad II were increased by swarms of fearless fanatics, until, as Francis has said, the besieging army numbered 258,000. Constantinople fell, the last vestige of the Roman gestures was gone, and the Muslim conquerors trampled the religion of Rome in the dust. So that's the fall of Constantinople, right? and then he actually transfers the capital from where it was to Constantinople. They begin to use Constantinople as their point of reference for the capital.
Of Muslim.
Yeah, of the Ottoman Empire.
Yeah.
Right. It ceases to be the capital of Eastern Rome. It starts to be the capital of now modern day Turkey. This is now Istanbul in our time. Right.
Turkey is an Islamic nation.
Yeah. So then Muhammad too, they reached the height of their glory in this time period. So in our time period, how do we understand this? What's 1453? Lining up with
Midnight Cry.
Midnight Cry, right? So here you have the first attack on Eastern Rome, right? And then here you have the conquering of Mohammedanism over Rome. So what's going to happen here on Eastern Rome? What's going to happen in our time? If what we are saying is correct.
An attack.
An attack upon
Eastern America.
which is
armies of Rome.
the United States, right? So probably it will be as bad how many times is 9/11?
Sorry? What's the question?
How bad will it be? How bad will it be compared to 9/11?
It will be doubled.
It will be doubled.
In fact, if you read the history, Constantinople had double walls, and Muhammad II's cannon brought down the double wall.
Exactly.
And he being Muhammad II is the doubling of Muhammad.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have Muhammad II, right? Then the double walls fall, right? So we interpret it as a severe attack that is going to come on the United States, right? And then it will be more bad, twice as 9/11, right?
And there's also a source that I read though that says that the siege was 53 days
53 days.
and was done
And
in
it's
1453.
in 1453.
So there's a doubling of 53s.
Okay, so there's a doubling of 53s as well. Okay, that's interesting. And then what else do we have here? Then that canon, if you read the history, it says it was a new mode of warfare. Right?
Yeah.
Even if you go to the chart, it will say first war, when referring to the first horse, it just draws a horse with someone with a sword. But if you check on the second horse, there's someone with a gun. And then they write Turkey new mode of warfare, not new mode of warfare, but they say effect in history, referring to having a new mode of warfare being introduced. So here you have also a new mode of warfare that is going to come, right? And also what?
It could possibly be an atomic or nuclear weapon. Because,
Okay.
not that this means anything, but I don't think it's a coincidence. When you look at Einstein's theory of relativity, which is the basis of atomic science, it's E equals to mc squared. And the strike is going to take place at mc, and it's squared because there's a doubling. So,
Okay. That's another contribution. Okay. Karao.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to ask, because I see that the attack is taking place at Constantinople, and when we read it, it says Constantinople was the last vestige of Roman greatness. So, yeah, I don't know if that could mean anything, because Constantinople, I believe it was the capital. I'm not saying Islam is going to hit Washington, D.C., but I'm just wondering if is that significant that they hit the capital, or maybe could there be a symbol or something that typifies the capital or the stronghold that's going to be hit there, and yeah, something of that sort.
But we know it's going to be bad.
Yeah.
Right. So, okay, want to say something?
Stronghold of the United States is its constitution.
Constitution.
Yeah, that strike is just going to cause the United States to just set that constitution aside, because martial law is implemented at the midnight cry, and their government will be functioning in opposition or independent of the constitution. So I'm sure one of the things that contributes to that is the strike of Islam to be so bad that US sets aside its constitution.
So Muhammad too is the one who is going to, there's going to be a hiring of someone to do this work. And then this is what was said on page 9. I just want to read this. If you go to your notes on page 9, it says, if you go to the last page, it says, to the last sentence, it says, "Canst thou cast a cannon?" was his question to the founder of Cannon, that deserted to him of the size sufficient to batter down the wall of Constantinople. So, what do we have here in the history of midnight cry? In other lines, in terms of questions, inquiries.
Oh.
So it's an inquiry of, canst thou cast a cannon of sufficient size to batter down the walls of Constantinople? And also, we know that there's inquiries that we make during this history. What's the primary reference for that? Huh? The virgins. The virgins are what? Asking for oil. That's the primary reference for the inquiries at midnight. The virgins are asking for oil from those who have it. I don't know if I have missed something so far. So these four, let me just end with this commentary. We have four angels that get lost here at the beginning of 1449, which is the beginning of the second war, right? And then we said we have how many days to August 11, 1940? According to verse 15. Verse 15 talks about an hour, a day, a month, and a year to slay the third part of man, right? So it's adding the issue of how there's going to be a destructive week here. But 391 days in 15 years, 15 days. Take you to August 11, 1840, right? So, here you have four angels that get loosed. Here you have four angels that will get what? Restrained, right? And who were those? I mean, what powers restrained Islam in this issue?
The four European powers.
The four European powers, right? That was England, Austria, Prussia, and
Russia.
They restrained which empire? That's Ottoman Empire. And then in 1838, you had a war. You had some controversies between the Islam of Egypt. That's in this history. Egypt is fighting against the Ottoman Empire. Why? Because they want to carry on the jihad. Are we together? Because when you get to the end, the Ottoman Empire is falling, but Egypt is trying to continue on the work of the jihad, the second war. But then you get to 1840, they also get restrained when the four powers intervene to stop the reign of of the Ottoman Empire. And then, so in 1842, then we have this vision by William Foy, who is shown that the sixth trumpet is not yet done sounding. That's 1842. And then when you get to October 22nd, 1844, the seventh trumpet begins to sound. I was doing this revision so that we may continue on freely. So is there anything to ask so far?
Well, maybe it's not a question, but it's just a contribution, something that I'm seeing.
Yeah.
Like in Revelation 9, it says to a third. It does say a third part, right? Yes, to slay a third part of man. Could it have a connection with the third part that we've been learning earlier on the First World Trumpets? Like the USA, the armies are a third part of Rome, modern Rome. Like, can we make a connection?
A connection to...
Like here in this case, they're commanded to slay a third part, right? And in that history from Midnight Cry to the Sunday, we know it's the downfall of the United States, which is a third part of Rome. So, like, can we make it? Is it something?
Some connection to the previous lesson.
Yes.
Someone to answer that one.
Could that question be repeated again? Repeated.
Okay, I'm saying like in that history from the Midnight Cry. I mean, like, okay, we're lining 1840 with the Sunday law, right?
Okay, what I did not do is explain something.
Okay.
Let me just explain this issue of these 4 years. Under the second war, when the second war begins, we have 4 years to the fall of Constantinople, right? Which means when you get to the end of the second war, what will we have?
4 years.
Another 4 years. That take you to 1844. Right. So when we apply these ones, we lay them line upon line. We combine them, right? So we take these 4 years and then we apply them here from midnight to midnight cry. So here we have 1449 to 1453. But these 4 years we place them here from midnight cry, that would be 1840. Then the Sunday law would be 1844. Right. This is how we have broken this 391 year 15 days. But when we have done this, I wanted to say something. Here, after these 4 years, we have a seat that gets taken, right? And it goes over to the next power, right? Right. So when you get to the end of these 4 years, what's happening to the Protestant nation? What's happening?
In 1845.
Yeah, in 1844. What's happening? Prophetically speaking, they are left in darkness, yeah, but what's happening as well? If we are saying here, after these 4 years,
they are falling.
Yeah, they are falling. Because here you have an empire that is falling. During this history, who were the covenant people? Okay, let me go to, assuming this is the history of the Millerites, who were the covenant people?
Protestant.
The Protestants. But when you get to October 22nd, 1844, who are they now? They cease to be identified with God. So they are an empire that is, let me say, a nation that is falling. Alright? Just as we have a nation that is falling. God takes the Millerites to substitute them.
But at one level, August 11, 1840 can be placed at the Sunday.
Yeah.
And October 22nd, 1844 is the close of probation. So what would be your question? The question you asked.
Okay, my question was from July 27, right, 1449 to August 11, 1840. We said that is the period given to slay a third part of men, right? And then, yeah, a third part of men. And then in our history, right, we know from, maybe it starts from the Midnight Cry, you have to correct me, to the Sunday Law, we see now the downfall of the United States of America, right?
Yes.
And the United States is a third part of Rome. So, can we tie these two together?
Yes.
Yes.
And the slaying is from midnight to the Sunday.
All right.
Okay, so here, which trumpet begins to sound? Hello? In 1845.
Seven.
The seventh trumpet. So, in our time, what would that be?
Depends.
Hello? It
Depends.
depends. Okay. Here's the way mark. If this is the sound law, then what's this?
COB.
COB. So at COB, at one level, the seventh trumpet begins to, let me say, the third will, perfect fulfillment. The seventh trumpet, it's in 1844, so it's here, right? Okay, maybe you want to say something.
Yeah, you can also place it at COP because what happens at COP, according to Spalding McGann, page 3, paragraph 2, Christ sets up his kingdom when the four winds let loose. And when the seventh trumpet blows, there is a pronouncement, the kingdoms of this world have become the kingdoms of our Lord and of his Christ, and he shall reign forever and ever. So you can actually mark the setting up of Christ's kingdom fully complete at the close of probation with the blowing of the seventh trumpet. Then the next thing that said is the nations were angry and thy wrath is come. So when you're now relating to that, not as extended periods of time, when probation closes, the nations are angry because the four winds have been let loose, and God's wrath has come because the seven last plagues are falling, and then the time to judge the dead follows afterwards. So you can still see the seventh trumpet.
Okay. So I'll end on this. Here, this would be the perfect fulfillment of the third law, right? Can you identify the seven last plagues as the perfect fulfillment of the third law?
Yes.
We can, right? This is what the pioneers believed actually. They were believing that the third woe would be a fulfillment of the seven last plagues, right? But here we are now trying to see the meaning of the trumpets in our time. This is why we are being forced to think this through. So in 1844, here, this is where you have the seventh trumpet sounding, right? And here, this is where you have the sixth trumpet sounding, and then here you have the fifth. Are we together? Yeah. This is an application for present truth. Do you have any?
Yeah. I'm just having
Okay, what we will do, we are now over time. What we will do is I will pray, and then you can say what you want to say, so that the recording doesn't go too long. Okay. So let's pray. Our Father in heaven, thank you for allowing us to revise the trumpets. We pray that may you help us to continue on to dig for what they are teaching in us in our time. We pray also for the things that are being discussed here. May you help us understand. For with our own human minds, we cannot. We are at the end of the world, and we pray that may you take away all our deficiencies and help us to see light for our time. For prophecy continues to develop for those who will be in need of the light at the end of the world. We pray that may you continue to pour out your spirit by opening your word to us. We pray for the conveniences that we need here at this camp or at this meeting. May you take care of those who are leading out in providing the facilities and the means and the food that we need. We pray that may you continue to bless them, and may you also provide the room that you need for the proper studies to continue on developing. We pray that you all do this in your time. In Jesus' name, amen.